Hello, listeners. Welcome to the new episode of Sound Advice.
Sound advice.
Hi.
What was that?
What?
That was just, hi.
Let me live.
I'm,
Hi, viewers.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Kelsey.
Okay, I thought I was gonna go last.
We're
Okay.
going around the clock.
Yeah, and I'm Marcus.
All right, and today we have a lot to talk about. So go ahead and get us started, Marcus.
All right, guys. For the first segment, we've got a new segment
Yeah, we do.
created by yours truly. It's called Yay or Nay. So in this segment, all we pretty much do is just talk about things that we would see if you guys would be down to try or not.
All right, quick segment. Sounds
Yeah.
good. Sounds fun.
Quick and easy, painless. So, first thing, would you guys be willing to try nutrition studies or like taste tests, stuff that's like not been approved by the FDA or anything yet? Would you guys be down to try something like that?
Is it paid?
Let's say yes.
Kelsey would try humans. So.
Hey. That's so weird out of context.
Okay, but go ahead, Kelsey.
I don't know. I feel like it depends on what it is. But, I mean, if you're trying to get money and you're trying to, like,
That moolah.
yeah, if you want new things, if you want that money, then, I mean, go for it.
What do you mean by nutrition test? They just feed you stuff?
Yeah, like for example, I signed up for one, and that's why I came up with it because usually when I thought about it, I was like, I'm not gonna sign up for something like that because they could be feeding me all sorts of whatever, trying to kill me or something. But the one that they signed me up for was just this weird citrus beverage type thing, and I mean, it's not really gonna hurt you. It's just trying to see what the effects it has on your body, which still sounds kind of scary, but I mean, I trust them, so I mean, whatever.
Was it like a placebo thing? Or did it actually have effects?
Well, we're gonna find out because I'm in the middle of the testing right now.
Oh.
So
Maybe you shouldn't have told us this.
This might be Marcus's last time on the podcast because he might die.
yeah. So
Wait, how does that work? I'm interested. So you do it for how long?
So it's like a 3-week period.
Dang.
It's like the first week. I've already done the first week where it's just I'm not drinking the beverage. Then for the next couple weeks, I pick up the beverage and I just drink it every day. Write down questionnaires about my health and like my diet behaviors and whatnot. And then at the end, they were gonna like take like some blood sample and see see my improvements or not so much improvements, and then see I guess how much the product works or doesn't work, something like that.
What kind of product? Is it like a weight loss thing?
Not really a weight loss thing because I don't need a weight loss. I'm chilling, but it's just to see the health benefits of this citrus beverage.
Did they tell you what the benefits should be, or is it up to you to, like, write down your
No, they told us the
observations?
benefits. I just completely forgot what they were.
Oh, that's
So
good. Then it'll be like
Great.
actual results. you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Nothing.
I mean, this was like through UF, and I was like, yo, this is pretty official. So I'm digging it.
Are you getting paid for it?
I am. I'm getting paid $90 by
What?
this. So hey,
Dude.
holla back, y'all.
Kelsey's
holla
like,
back.
ooh.
Hit me up with that citrus.
Hey,
How did
hey,
you
real
find
talk.
this?
It was on a flyer, just some random flyer. If you go to the nutrition study area, do you know where that is? It's like near Rawlings Hall.
Nope.
Well, it's somewhere over there. But like, yeah, just check over there. I can't give you directions.
Dang, that's actually pretty nice, though.
But yeah, like every now and then they have flyers about nutrition studies and stuff that they're doing. So yeah, check it out.
I know your old library that you worked at, it had, like, a bulletin board, like, in the hall, and
Yeah.
they had a bunch of tests like that. And I used to look at those, but I never did any.
Should have, man. Should have.
I don't
Like
know.
my eyes have been opened. I'm totally down to do this nutrition study thing.
I feel like that one's kind of tame, but some of them I think get out of hand. So if it's, like, more extreme, I probably wouldn't do it, like taking pills or something. But I don't know. I feel like if it's just, like, juice, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And then like since they said it was a citrus beverage, I was like, I mean, how bad can it be? It's supposed to be like some orange juice, I'm gonna be drinking Tampico or something. So,
Hopefully.
but anyway, yeah. So I would say yes. What about you, Clark? Would you actually do it or not?
I feel like the only downside was like me like forgetting to do it, and I wouldn't want to lie on the results. So,
care.
I would totally be into doing it, trying it though. I think it seems pretty simple. I just think I would forget easily is my thing. But yeah, I agree with the pill thing. Is like a lot of people do that if they have a disease or something. They're like, oh, there's nothing to lose, which I get. But for me personally, I wouldn't try anything like that. But if it's food and it's something I think I would like, I would definitely go ahead and do it.
Okay. Interesting you said that about pills, though, because that was going to be one of my next yay or nays. Would you guys be willing to try weight loss pills?
I'm going to say nay on this one. I just feel like they're very problematic and probably, like, addictive. Like, I don't know much about them, But like every story I've heard is just like really bad.
Yeah, it's really interesting that people still take them, in my opinion, because I feel like all you hear is just like, oh, I took them, I was great, and then once I stopped, I immediately fluctuated. You know what I mean? Like, I think, at least I would say nay as well, because I think for weight, if you're not personally like, eating well or exercising, anything else that you try is just going to stop working for you as soon as you end it.
Yeah, and it's not healthy if you're not, exercising, eating healthy.
Okay. I mean, I haven't heard any horror stories from people who've taken weight loss pills or anything, but I mean, I can only imagine that it wouldn't be so great for you. So I was kind of cautious to try them. I mean, I haven't tried them, so for me, it would be a nay as well.
My roommate tried, I guess, recently she tried them, but it was interesting because she said it very like casually. But I guess it just depends on how you look at it, or maybe like if you know other people on it. Because to me, I thought that was strange, but I get maybe to her it was like, oh, I'm just doing this, I'm trying it out. Like maybe some of her family does. I don't know. So I guess it just depends on.
Wait, your roommate said they tried it?
Yeah, my roommate was like, oh, I'm doing weight loss pills. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but wait, your roommates aren't overweight.
I agree, but Muffy thinks she is. So I guess that's another dangerous thing too, is like, if you're not overweight and you're taking these, obviously, that could be bad, health-wise. So that's another thing because like with exercise and diet, obviously that can become extreme and not good. But like at least eating well, like if you're not overweight, that's still going to help you. But weight loss pills, if you're not overweight, that could probably not help you.
I think even like other products that kind of simulate that, like my mom used to be really big on like Slim Fast. And so I think stuff like that, even like you just can't cheat it. Like you can't cheat like the health benefits. And like even if you do, it's only temporary. Like you said, like once you stop doing it, like it's going to come back and it's probably going to have like negative effects on you. So I just think all that stuff, like you should not. Just do it naturally if you want to lose weight, but just like focus on your health.
Yeah, I just think I've never been that person that like believed any of that stuff works. And to me, it's crazy how many people do believe some of that stuff works. Like, those wrap things? Have you ever seen those? Like on...
What's that?
People like, when people sell like a pyramid scheme kind of thing, they sell stuff from a company.
Yeah.
I've seen stuff on Facebook where it's like a body wrap. And literally you just wrap this thing around your stomach like so many times.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yo, that is straight up fraud.
Right?
Straight up fraud.
And they're like selling them to their friends. Like... And then there's a before and after picture. I'm like, this is such...
I mean, yeah, they look great after because they hiding all that fat.
Is it like a corset type thing?
Almost.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's just like a modern day corset.
Okay.
And you just wrap it around you for maybe a certain amount of time, and then a few times a week. It's really
you
strange.
just wrap it around you anytime you go out in public.
True.
I feel like my grandma, though, like, she always recommended, like, when my sister got pregnant, my grandma said, like, after she had her kids, she would always wear, like, a corset, and, like, eventually the weight would redistribute.
Oh, my God.
So, like, she told my sister to do that, and I don't think my sister did, but I think that's interesting.
That sounds so unhealthy.
I know.
Yeah,
like, especially after you're pregnant.
That does not sound good.
Oh, my God.
At least it's not while she was pregnant.
Oh, yeah, that would have been...
stop.
Oh, my God. That would have been wild.
I mean, of course, it's like back in the day, like, they obviously were for... I mean, they were to make you the dress fit or whatever,
Yeah.
but, like, they did have some... maybe it worked, but I wouldn't want to go about it that way.
Yeah, it seems
personally.
bad.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's a unanimous nay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, last one.
Uh-oh.
Getting a little kinky. So,
No.
so the last one is: would you guys buy adult toys in person, like in the store? You walk it up to the cashier and just say, "Yo, I'd like to purchase this."
I feel... As part of me, when I think of this, I also think of, like, receiving something in the mail, and you don't know how it's going to come packaged. So I think, like, if you're in a store that sells these products and you want to buy this, it's almost better to go to the cashier because that's what they expect. Like, they don't care that you're buying this. But, like, if your mailman, like, somehow sees your mail and that you're buying some terrible thing, they're going to be like, okay. So I feel like in that regard, I would almost rather buy it in person.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's, like, a weird thing to go to a store.
Sorry to interrupt.
Okay.
Some companies deliver to you like, what's the word? Like, they discreetly package it on purpose. So like they're like, your mailman won't know, your mom won't know, like, buy from us. So that's what I think is funny. Is like a lot of companies do that actually. But I mean, I feel like it's not a huge deal if you're in a store, like you said, made for it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, like, I don't know, tweet about it, obviously that's kind of weird to, like, share it with other people unless you're into that or something.
Just purchase my toy from toys.com.
But it's not embarrassing unless you make it embarrassing, in my opinion. True. So I would say like I wouldn't mind it. I don't think it's a big deal.
Although with the discreet mail thing, like personally, I have dogs in my yard, and mailmen always leave boxes in my yard, and the dogs just destroy it. So yeah, that would be the worst.
Everybody on the street just sees your package.
Your grandma walks out.
She would.
Oh no!
But so I don't think I would ever actually
That's really funny.
buy something like that. But I mean, you know, you got to think about stuff like that.
I mean, for me, it's a really hard yes or no, because I mean, like for guys, I mean, I know a lot of guys are really awkward just buying something as simple as like condoms from a store. You know, like I guess maybe because it's the size, and guys are like, oh, size matters, whatever. Anyway. But yeah, so like a lot of people are like feel weird about buying condoms from stores, and I'm like, if that's just like a condom, like how would a sex toy be like buying that from a store, especially guy adult toys? That'll just be weird. But at the same time, like the alternative is kind of strange as well. Like online ordering seems like it's a better idea, but then at the same time, like if the mailman ever like sees that you're ordering online, it just totally adds a whole new dimension of like shade that's casted,
Yeah.
And people use different cards, so like potential parents don't see their purchases from like an online, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they'll
yeah. So they don't see
specifically
your
get a different card or
transactions.
something, which is hilarious.
Although I have to say, even for me, like if like kind of the equivalent of I guess condoms is like buying like even period stuff for like girls. Like, whenever I'm buying, like, pads or tampons or whatever, like, I always go to, like, the self-checkout because I'm
True.
like, I don't want to have people seeing all this. But it's nothing to be, like, ashamed of, but it's still, like, some weird sense of embarrassment. So I can't actually, like, picture myself buying something in a store, but I don't know.
No, yeah, that is funny you bring that up because it is like a weird, even if it's like a female cashier, it's still, at least for me and I guess for you too, but like it's still like, nah, which is annoying, like that we think like that.
Yeah.
Because I think we're just trained to think like that. But
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just personal products, Personal products are personal. I mean, and that's all that there really is to it. So
But it's like
I can see
everybody
why.
uses them.
Yeah, you're right. Especially for like women products like that, tampons and stuff. I mean, it's like everybody has it, so I don't see why,
But-
it's such a stigma.
people go crazy. Like in high school, like if you like drop your pad on the floor, people think it's just a very weird thing that like, especially younger people just go crazy over.
And guys especially, like, guys just
What
do
is
not
that?
have it. Yeah, they're like, what? It's like, relax. I'm
No,
sure
for real.
even
I
like
remember
grown
that.
adults.
Yeah, I
That's
remember that
true.
back in high school, man. The guys would go crazy when anything that had to do with like periods or pads or anything like that would actually like surface, because I guess guys just didn't know. It was like health class 101 for them.
Yeah, I remember in high school, not to keep going on the subject, but there was this girl, and she would keep her tampons in like a glasses case. And I think one day, like, she had it just on her desk for some reason, and like some guy walked over and like opened the glasses case for whatever reason, and he was like terrified, like he threw them and they went everywhere. And I was like, why are you making a big deal about this? It's such a weird thing.
That's so he threw. Why would you throw them like it's like something to be scared of? That's hilarious.
I don't know. He
And then
was
here's the thing
terrified.
about it, like I mean, like pads, they look like band-aids, like giant band-aids, really. So like I don't see why he'd be like, I mean that's what it looks like to me. So like I don't see why like you'd be like scared of it or anything. Like oh my god, it just looks like you got this really huge cut and you have to cover it.
And they're also not used. They're brand new. Like, what's your
Yeah.
Yeah,
problem? Like,
so I mean, they be tripping about that stuff, man.
that's a good kind of. I know it doesn't really look like a Band-Aid to me, but like in that sense where it's just like a health product, like chill out.
Yeah. But so the
Back to the
adult toys.
Yeah, to get back on track.
I'd say yay if you want to go for it. Who cares?
But at the end of the day, I don't even see myself like, going into one of these stores without being embarrassed. I feel, but so I overall, I would say nay.
Like, I mean, I could see myself going into the store just to see what they have, but like to personally like actually like, bring up a toy and be like, yo, I want to buy this. I just can't see myself doing that.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say nay too.
2 nays, 1 yay. All right,
So mixed views, mixed reviews. Do it if you want. If you don't want to, hey, don't do it.
there
That's
you go.
my opinion.
That is that good advice.
Sound advice.
But yeah, that's yay or nay, our new segment. So look out for that in the future.
Yeah.
All right, on to our next segment. Tips Appreciated is back. Yes.
Let's get it.
Today we're going to talk about arguments, which, is kind of broad. But basically the question is, what do you do in a heated situation when you're in an argument with someone? Could be anyone, your friends, people you don't know that well. Like, how do you react? And then in turn, like, how you can better react in the future.
Okay, okay.
All right. So first tip here is know your facts in the argument. Seems obvious, but I feel like a lot of people argue and then they don't know what they're talking about. So don't just start spewing stuff if you aren't sure of what you're saying. Like, be confident in not knowing is what I would say.
Be
And
confident in not knowing.
yeah, like if what I'm saying is like if you don't know something, be confident to say, "Wait, I don't actually know." Like
Oh, okay.
instead of because at least even for me, like if I'm wrong, but like it's a really heated argument, I'm gonna act like I'm right,
Yep.
just to keep going and just
That's
to like
me.
win.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
the other
yeah.
person's like, "Oh, let me look it up," and
Yep.
you're like,
Get
"Oh,
the
no."
receipts.
But or also if you don't know and they look it up and you're worried and then you get it wrong, like
True.
it's a big thing. So I feel like knowing your facts is really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, you always got to know your facts, but I mean, I could totally understand, why people like will hold on to stuff even if they know that they're wrong, just because like it's an ego thing, like
Yeah.
you don't want to bite the bullet and say, yeah, all right, I'm wrong, So I understand, but I mean, it's not the right thing to do.
I feel like that's one of my like biggest flaws is like I don't let it go, even when like I know I'm in the wrong. But I'm trying to work on it, and I think other people should work on it.
I feel like it's something that we all have. Like almost none of us like are just willing to be like, yo, yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, you got me on that one.
Especially if it's like a close friend or like someone you're in a relationship with, like, or even like a parent. Sometimes I feel it's like you get into something and then you're really in that moment you're really sure of yourself, right? And then obviously someone can look it up or whatever. But like I definitely think ego thing, and then just also like sometimes you just think you're right even though you're not, and you really believe you're right.
Yeah. I read something recently where it was like, when you are arguing, you shouldn't like prioritize your ego. Like you should care about like the relationship. Like that's the point of arguing, is to like come to the same conclusion. And it shouldn't be like you holding on to something that's false. It should be you trying to like compromise with the other person. So in that way, I think, yeah, like you should learn to let your ego go.
Yeah. I mean, in my philosophy class, my teacher would say that argumentation is supposed to be a cooperative enterprise. It should not be like fighting, like I'm against you, you're against me. It should be like we're both working together to get to a goal that we can both agree on.
Right.
So I guess that's the biggest thing about arguments in general. It's like when you have an argument with somebody, it's not like, all right, we both disagree, so let's find a way to see, what the best answer is. It's usually like, I disagree with you, and so we're going to fight it till one of us says we're right,
And I think what's worse about that is like a lot of times the other person is just like brush it off and be like, okay, yeah, you're right, even though they're not. And I feel like that's not good in that long run, obviously, because the person thinks they're right for no reason. Maybe their ego gets boosted up for no reason. And like if you're fighting a particular person that like they always say they're right, or a lot of people just say they're right, don't be afraid to be like, okay, no, actually here's what it is. And if you say that in a calm way, maybe you'll get around to them eventually.
Yeah. And I think,
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's okay to like also just agree to disagree sometimes. Like nobody has to be right. Like you can just be like, this is my opinion and this is your opinion, and nobody's gonna change it. But we can like discuss it and be like, hey, this is why I think you're not right or whatever. But as long as you do that, I think you can come to some sane conclusion.
Yeah, that's one thing I think is always interesting, like arguing about opinions, because, I mean, they're not right and they're not wrong. Like, it's not a fact, it's just an opinion. But, like, I mean, we constantly argue about it. And, like, I mean, of course, like, you're going to want people to have your opinion on stuff. But, I mean, at the same time, like, not everybody's going to have it. So, sure, you could try to sway people on your opinions. But then at the same time, just know at the end of the day, even if you don't, like, yo, it's not a fact. It's nothing but an opinion. Like,
And that's onto kind of the next tip is if it's about your perceptions, then you guys should not be arguing in the first place. Like, stop arguing. So kind of perceptions, I was doing some research and stuff, and what it said was, if you think something is red and they think it's orange, neither of you will ever change your mind. So I get, like an opinion or perception, if someone really thinks what they think, no matter how much you talk to them, they're not going to change their mind. And if you're both very, very set on one point, at one point you got to realize like the arguing is not going anywhere.
yeah, that's just what it is. I mean, like, it's one thing to argue about facts. But then, like, if you're trying to argue about an opinion, it's just going to be a fight because you can't really change how you feel about something. I mean, you can change how you feel, but, like, if that's really how you feel about it, then, like, them saying, oh, it's not that, then, you're not going to change.
Yeah. And again, like you can discuss both of your sides, but it doesn't have to be like an argument. Like you can be like, here's what I think, here's what they think, and that's it.
Yeah, there's a difference between fighting and arguing.
Yeah, our argumentation, like, I mean, we use it in a way that's fighting. But, like, what it's supposed to be is just, like, cooperative, I guess, working together to get a disagreement to common ground.
Right. So fighting would be more like just yelling at each other, like your point. You're not going to change it. You're not going to try and change it. And then just arguing like about facts or about not perceptions, because people hold those, a lot of perception people hold close to them. And, you might even offend them enough to where they're going to lose friendship with you. So if you're going to, you don't want to risk a friendship to that level, I would say personally. So if you feel like it's just getting escalated and you kind of, in that moment, you kind of step back and say like, okay, this is something that they're definitely not going to change their mind on. Just calm down and just, I think you should be the bigger person to move on from it.
I think that's good advice, but also like if their perception is something like really terrible, I don't think you should like care about really losing the friendship sometimes. Like, I mean, if they're like, I like murdering babies and I think it's okay, like you should probably be like, I don't think so. But
yeah, it definitely, obviously, it like depends on what the argument is. But I definitely agree. Like if it is something that their perception affects how they look at you, or if they makes them look at you or people in a negative light, or just morals that you have, then yeah, for sure, like maybe re-question that friendship.
Yeah,
I respect that. I mean, and then even the thing about that is, because I was gonna say earlier that we should like keep our emotions in check, because it's easy to get mad in an argument, but like we're not supposed to, or at least we shouldn't get mad. But then if you're talking about something where it's something like actually offensive that's being argued about, then I mean I can see you getting upset at the very least. So I've tried to say like, yo, don't get upset, but then if it's something offensive, like I can understand. Just try to make sure that it doesn't get too out of hand, I guess, right? So you're not just brawling in the streets. But yeah, that's what I would say.
And I think you have to, like, within yourself, realize what your boundaries are in terms of people's perceptions or morals, like I said. If you can still be friends with someone who has this specific view, then obviously you're fine. You don't have to, not to bring that topic up or something. But if someone kind of crosses that line in an argument, then you can rethink that.
Yeah. And that's kind of along the lines of our third point, which is like, try to keep your emotions under control, which is like easier said than done. But I don't know, like you can just try to stay neutral. I think that would be best in an argument. But again, like if somebody says something offensive, I can see you being offended.
Yeah. I mean, but definitely keep your emotions under control if, what you're arguing about is just worthless. Like if you know that you're arguing about something stupid, like it doesn't make any sense. And like that's like, a big problem that a lot of couples have, especially, is like they'll be arguing over something so silly that it just doesn't even make sense that they're even arguing about it. And then they get so mad that like it can actually jeopardize their relationship. And I mean, it's just unnecessary risk of relationship, risk of happiness and all that stuff. So just keep it on lock, keep it locked down.
I know a lot of relationships end in like really silly ways. Like people say, oh, it ended because we fought over who was doing the dishes. And then it'll just build up from there. So even with emotions, but also like stay in that moment. Don't bring back old stuff that you used to fight about. Like that argument specifically is supposed to be about, that situation you're in. So I think kind of throwing back stuff from the past just to do it and to hurt them, obviously that won't get you anywhere. And trying to realize in the moment if there's more to it that they're trying to say too. Like maybe they're probably not arguing about the dishes. Maybe they're trying to say something else, but they're not directly saying it. Or maybe they're wrong about something else. So with emotions, like control yours, but also try and see like why they could be so emotional about their side as well.
Yeah, and I think when tempers flare, people do tend to, say things they don't mean.
Ooh, I like that. Tempers flare. I haven't heard that in a while. That's
really
nice.
I don't know. I think people, like, if anything, if the other person you're arguing with, like, you see them getting angry, like, maybe try to diffuse the situation. Like, maybe even yourself apologize. Don't say, like, you're right if they're not right, but, like, just try to bring down the situation.
And I think that does make you the bigger person, honestly, because if you're kind of taking control of the situation, I think that makes the other person realize really quickly, too, how silly the argument may be or how emotional they're getting for no reason. Especially if I feel like when you're in an argument, if the other person's really civil and you're just getting really emotional and stuff, you kind of look silly to yourself after the fact. So just both sides. If your emotions are in control, then you can kind of try and control them as well.
Wait, that's really funny that you talked about that, though, Clark, because I mean, I've seen that all the time. So somebody in the argument is being civil, and then the other person's getting angry, right? But then just the fact that the person's being civil makes the other person angrier, you know?
That's true.
And like that's happened to me too. Like there's times where I was the civil person and times where I was the angry person. And like, you know, when I was the angry person, seeing somebody being civil would just make me angrier. You know, I'd be like, why aren't you passionate about this? You know, why are you just being so neutral about this, you know? So, but yeah, if you can, just try to keep it under control. And I know that you're going to get ticked if somebody is being civil about it and you're not, but just try to hold it down. Because like you look back on it and you be like, wow, I acted like a jerk.
Yeah, and that point too is in that moment you hate it, but at the end you're like, okay, wow, this person really, you know, either means a lot to me or I respect how they were in the argument.
Yeah, you'll definitely respect that.
And if you're that angry, maybe you should just leave the room or leave the situation, you know, for that time. I learned in my communications class, like if it's escalating that much, maybe you guys just say like, okay, we'll talk about this at a different time because the emotions are way too high. And maybe you're talking about it at a time, maybe they just got home from work and they had a stressful day, and then you're going to say like, wash the dishes, you know? So try, and if it's not working out that situation, obviously in the middle of an argument, it's difficult, but like if you both are really, really emotional, maybe be like, all right, let's cool down alone for a minute and then come back to this.
I think on the other side of anger, what I tend to do, which is probably not good, is like, I'm not civil, but I kind of get more irritating by like laughing at the situation.
All the time.
Yeah, Kirsten knows. But like, if somebody's annoyed, like, I think I just get so uncomfortable that I start like poking fun at it, and then I'll just like make awful jokes and like I won't stop, and that makes the person like really angry, and they don't like it. But I feel like that's my way of diffusing the situation, but it often makes it worse.
Now, I've got family who's like that. Like, one of my family members will definitely, anytime they're in an argument, at least they might not do it the way you do it, but I know that they will, for example, if they hear something that they think is just, you know, completely wrong, they'll just laugh, you know? It's like they'll be saying something like, you know, this is how I feel, and then they'll be like, ha, 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 that's funny. And then that will just totally, like, run them off. Like, they'll just get even more ticked, so.
Yeah, I don't know if I do that, but I do think it's along the same lines of, like, it kind of comes across as mocking almost.
Yeah,
like
it's
you're
like
not
mocking
taking
them,
it
yeah.
as seriously as they are, but I don't know.
I think, oh, go ahead.
No, you say.
Well, I think, like, too, one of the points that I saw was, like, remember they have emotions, and remember, like, they are human as well, which is, like, obviously people know. But if something, just kind of frame their situation, their life, their experiences into this argument, and kind of, even the time frame, like I said, when are they talking to you? And just remember, like, you were probably also in that situation before of, like, being extremely angry, and someone's kind of, almost ignoring the problem by trying to like diffuse it too much or in a strange way. Maybe you think they're like, the other person might feel like, oh, they're ignoring it or they don't care. So yeah, I just think maybe trying to look at the other person's perspective might help a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, walk a couple miles in another person's shoes. You'll see what's up.
Thanks, Marcus.
That was good. And then the fourth tip, this is very obvious, but listen. So I feel like in an argument, a lot of people kind of will tune out what the person's saying just to kind of build up what they're going to say in their head, which is kind of understandable. In an argument, you want to have good points. You want to, like, quote, win the argument. But if you're not listening to what they're saying and, like, where they're coming from, and you just kind of go back, have a rebuttal, like, really quickly, and maybe it not even be related to what they're saying, but their overall point, but you're not listening to, like, the details of it. You could kind of maybe have the same agreement, but you don't even realize it because you're fighting about something else with it.
I think this happens a lot in our group chat. Like, people will be arguing, like, over each other, but at the end of the day, you're like, oh, I'm actually arguing the same thing you are, but we're just, like, mad for different reasons.
Yeah. So they could be mad about a different situation or a different part of something, you know, and you're mad about another part of it.
Yeah, and I think it's, like, rooted in miscommunication. So, again, like, you need to listen and hear what they're saying so you don't sound stupid yourself.
Yeah, a wise man named Rollsafe once said, listen, I don't think you're listening.
Oh.
Boom,
Snap
bada
to
bing,
that.
bada bang. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Do you guys know Rollsafe?
Nope.
Yeah, well, he's a meme. But
Great.
anyway, yeah, but I mean, what he said is true. Like, I mean, listen, I don't think you're listening. I mean, if you're not listening, then you're not going to get the point. So definitely, I mean, listening is crucial to having a conversation, not just an argument. Any kind of conversation needs listening.
I think for an argument too, or more when it turns into a fight, is people just try going back and forth as quick as possible. Because if you take a minute to think, then you look silly, you know, in the eyes of the other person, or you feel embarrassed because you're not prepared. So if you're actually having just kind of a conversation or more of just like a civil argument, it's okay if you take time. It's more when it gets heated and stuff that like you want to you want to respond as quick as possible instead of responding kind of to what they're actually saying.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem. It's like when you think about it, I mean, when you're having an argument and people like are actually like, I mean, like a real argument, not like a quarrel, like an actual like, debate. I mean, when you're laying out your, your facts and your reasons to believe this, reasons to believe that, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for them to be able to instantly think of why that's incorrect.
Yeah.
It's like you really need time to really process and think, okay, what about this is incorrect, or what about this should be questioned and stuff like that. So, when we like just actually argue, like in reality, like we just immediately just blurt out, oh no, that's not right, and we don't even have reasons for it yet, half the time. So I mean, just really just lay back and like let it simmer and then think about it. You'll probably get a reason that actually makes sense for why you don't agree with their point.
And here's another thing I learned in communications class. It's very like, I feel like it'd be hard to actually do if you're arguing, but it could help friendship or like relationship. So someone brings up something like the dishes are never done. Like, obviously these are I keep bringing up like really small points, but the dishes are never done. Like, you need to do some.
Do the dishes suck.
So instead of, spending all this time arguing, you guys sit down together and come up with like all these different solutions you can think of. Like, even if they're like joking, because it kind of brings the mood down from anger to just like humor. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I'll wash them outside or something like very stupid. Like, just think, even if it's stupid, just
do
like
it outside, sucker.
Write down all of these different solutions, to this problem. Mm-hmm. And then again, this is kind of a drawn out helpful thing, and then try it out for like a week, and then if it's still not working for one of you has to feel the respect from the other, or like in this relationship you realize you can talk, so one of you speaks up, says this isn't working, let's try something else from our list, and then you keep going like that until you find something that works for both of you. Now obviously this is more for like a relationship, I'd say, just because you're with that person all the time, maybe it's problems like that, but that goes back to just listening and like seeing what they actually want out of a problem rather than yelling back at them.
Yeah, so just listen as intently as you do to sound advice.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And
Marcus was just thinking of that the whole time.
Probably. But yeah, step 5, do your dishes outside.
Step 5, do the dishes in general.
True though. But yeah, so final thing is just have faith that it can be resolved. So again, like write down those solutions, act on the solutions. Maybe it like won't be resolved the way you want it, but like compromise.
Yeah, I mean, chances are like when you're arguing, it's gonna be something simple, because like most of our arguments, I can't give you a percentage, but like I'd say over like 60% of our arguments are like just for nothing. Yeah. Something just silly that we're talking about. So I mean, if it's like that, I mean, just don't trip about it. It's all good.
And for me, if I'm in like in a bad mood, I get more argumentative, so I'll just argue about more stuff for no reason. True. And like I know there's no reason to it, but I'm just like in a very annoyed mood, Mm-hmm. So I just want to like yell or like fight back with someone, and I keep hitting this. And so I think I know this is not really with this point, but like if you're in an annoyed mood, try and make yourself like, okay, maybe I just won't talk to anyone right now, and just like until this passes. Just be very aware of yourself and get more aware of yourself and how you act in an argument when you're upset, and then you can kind of gauge other people's reactions. That's smart.
Yeah, good idea.
Thank you. But yeah, and if you have faith, it can be resolved. Like don't go into it saying like we're gonna think oppositely, no one's gonna change our minds, and it's just gonna be this big mess. Like maybe go into it thinking like,
ooh, yeah, that's a huge point. Yeah, thank you. Like definitely go into a situation open-minded.
Yeah.
Like if you go into an argument closed-minded, you're gonna leave it the same way. So like if you're gonna have a discussion where you're like throwing ideas, you have to be open to the other ideas.
That's true. Like if you have, maybe it's a group project, you have ideas, and then someone else has ideas, and you're immediately like, well, that's stupid. Even if it's to yourself, like
that's
be open. I know that kind of is me too. And I try not to do that, because like maybe their idea as a whole isn't great, but like we can take parts of each one and put them together or make something even cooler. So just hold back the judgment, maybe.
True. And again, compromise. Like, maybe everyone's right, but you can all come together and have one big right salad.
Right salad.
But actually, not to keep going this point, but in communication class, they say, like, instead of, we always are focused on compromising, but we can also do win-win way more than we think we can. So where, because compromise is more of, like, both people are actually losing something.
True.
But win-win, if you think of, like, the sit down and think of stuff, like, a lot of stuff you can actually both be 100% happy. But the thing with that is it takes a lot more time to, like, think of the solutions, and that's why a lot of us don't get to that point. So, for example, someone was studying, and then the roommate was bringing over friends to watch a show. And the compromise was like, fine, now I can't remember the story. We'll watch the show in our room instead of the living room. But, like, the other roommate was still annoyed because he could hear it through his wall, so that was not a great compromise. And then, you know, like, their win-win was like, oh, we'll watch it at the other friend's house. You can study here, but the next week you'll go to the library, we'll watch it here. And, you know, that could be a win-win. Obviously it's very situational how you guys think of win-wins, but maybe take the time to try and just find the win-wins instead of go straight to the compromise.
That makes sense. But yeah, I think with that, you should know how to argue and be civil about it.
Yeah, now you are ready to go into the real world.
You ready to go fight?
Yeah, you're ready to get in some real argumentation.
Get in the ring. All right, but this leads us to our last segment, and we are bringing back Hypothetically Speaking from last week. And that's the segment where we talk about hypothetical situations and what we may or may not do in them.
Dun dun.
So this week, all right,
Love
guys.
this segment.
All right, hypothetically speaking, we'll start with this.
Okay.
You're walking in Target. You're
In Target?
Yep, in Target.
Okay.
Could be anywhere, but we're in Target.
I like Target.
Me too. That's why I picked Target.
That junk is expensive, man. I can't
What?
afford Target.
All right, so Marcus is in the dumpster outside.
He's the one about to do what you're
God
about
dang,
to do.
at least it'll be
True.
like a
All right, no. But, okay.
Walgreens. No, Walgreens is bad too.
All right.
All right, anyway, we're in Target. All right, so you're walking through the clothing section. You're walking around, you're enjoying the clothes, they look cute, they look nice, you're going to try some on. But then you look over, and somebody is stealing a shirt. And they're putting it underneath their own shirt or in their jacket or something.
They smart.
And they are leaving. They are not going to pay for it. Do you do anything?
That's the question, I guess.
I guess.
Let me see. I don't know. I would probably say I'd probably not do anything. Just 'cause,
Honestly, oh, go ahead.
I mean, yeah. I mean, first off, if they really gonna steal like a $10 shirt, hey, y'all broke and you just need it. Go take it, whatever. And it's like Target's really not gonna lose that much money off the shirt. But then it's like also it's more for like a safety thing because it's like if I it's probably not a big deal with a shirt, but like if it was something else, for example, and I'm like, yo, hey, this guy's stealing something, like he might try to do me some harm, and I'd be like, yeah, I'm not trying to go through that. Just take it and leave. Like, I'm going to be over here doing my thing.
So if we change the hypothetical to be like he's stealing a laptop. I don't know if Target sells laptops. Let's make it like iPad. Like Target, not blah, 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 blah. The dude is stealing an iPad. You don't bring it up then?
I'd be a little more willing. I'd be more willing to talk about something like that. Just because it's a lot of money. And I mean, as a person who, they say, what is it? Capability gives you responsibility, something like that. So like if you are capable, then you are given the responsibility. So it's like if you saw the situation, then you're capable of telling somebody about it. So therefore you're responsible to do it. And so I would feel the responsibility to do it. Now if I would still do it, I'd be more willing, but I don't know for sure.
Would you confront them or like confront an employee?
Chances are I'd probably confront like, one of the cashiers or something like that first before I'd be like, hey bro, what you doing? Put that down. Because trust me, he'd be like, hey, I'll put that down and then I'll put this gun to your head.
Oh my God.
Hey.
All right, what about you, Kirsten?
For the shirt, I definitely probably wouldn't say anything because I feel like knowing myself in that moment, I'd be so shocked and I would just like text people what just happened.
True.
And
Yeah,
then
we get that on Snapchat.
literally, you start filming it.
This guy's stealing a shirt. It's lit.
You steal it. But yeah, I think I would just be so shocked that I would just let everyone know and probably tweet about it. And then I feel like if I said something, it'd probably be way too late. Like I'd walk around for 20 minutes and be like, okay, before I leave, I'm going to say something. And then the guy's gone.
Yeah, that guy who was here like an hour and a half ago, yeah, he stole a shirt.
Literally, that's like, like me preparing to like answer a question in class. It's like me preparing to tell someone stole. So, and then the iPad, First of all, it'd be very hard to steal an iPad, so that's pretty impressive.
True. Props to them. They can keep it.
Some gigantic pockets.
Bonus points.
But I feel like as soon as he left, I'd hopefully tell the person, like the, what is it, like the tech guy in that band. So I would be shocked, but I think I'd be like, well, so shocked I should definitely do something about this. So I feel like I wouldn't do it when he's like in sight, because I'd probably be kind of scared. But like as soon as like he walks away from that section, I'd tell the guy probably.
True.
But I just can't imagine. I don't know. I can't imagine seeing that. It would be so weird.
What about you, Kelsey? What would you do?
I think I'd probably do the same thing. Like once I was with, I won't name him, it's Cliffy, right?
Yeah.
Once I was with Cliffy, and Cliffy stole a hat randomly off the shelf at Walmart. And like, I didn't say anything, obviously.
Was this your friend or was this just some dude?
Not necessarily a friend, but somebody I know.
Okay.
So I didn't say anything, but like I looked down on him. But yeah, if he like was to take an iPad, I'd be like, yo, what? But that brings me to the next hypothetical. Like, what if it's somebody you know? Like, what if it's a brand new friend? You're going out with them for the first time. You're just chilling at Target, like one does, and they steal an iPad.
An iPad?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Now, if it was a friend or like a new friend, I would be more willing to confront them if I know them. You know, I'd be like, "Yo, what are you doing?" Because like, you know, we already have, you know, some kind of relationship where we like talk to each other. You know, it's like it's the fact that I would be going to like a stranger and saying something like that's a little weirder than like talking to somebody, even if it's just, you know, like a new friend. But I'd be more willing to say something to that. Now, like if it was like a good friend,
that was the next one.
might help him steal it. I'm playing. But
No, you ain't.
well, depends on how good the friend and how.
Marcus Davis.
I knew he wasn't kidding.
But like if it was a good friend, I'd be like, whatever, like, you know, do what you want, man. But like if you're going down, I ain't going with you.
It's like the opposite for me. Like if it was not a close friend, I feel like they stole it, right? And they're like, oh, come on. I'd be like, I would just like stop probably and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And like try and make a scene, kind of.
Yeah, like if it's something that like I know he's gonna get caught doing, I'd be like, yo, don't do this. Like,
Even if I knew he
if,
didn't get
like,
caught.
if I knew you wouldn't get caught, I'd be like, screw it, just do
What?
it.
Why does it make it different if you kind of know them versus a stranger?
Just because, like, if you know the dude, like, enough to talk to him, because, like, you know, you already, like...
Yeah, you talk him out of it, I would assume.
Yeah, you'd be able to talk to him, but, like, I don't know, something about people who you just don't talk to. It's like, you know, why are you talking to me is the first thing. And then, like, the next thing is, like, you're talking to me to confront me about this. And then it's just, like, the unknown that you don't know, you know, what they're capable of, which is the other thing with, like, the acquaintance type thing. Like, I'd be scared to know what he's capable of since I don't really know him like that, but I'd be at least willing to talk to him since, like, you know, we're on talking terms.
What if, like, he refuses to listen to you and he's about to walk out the door? Do you do anything?
911? What's your emergency? Nah, more like, I don't know. I mean, if he's going to walk out the door, then, I mean, yo, whatever. You know, you're not going to listen to me.
Whatever.
You're not going to listen to me. Like, so what you going to do? I guess I could, you know, tell the cashier, but.
Yeah.
But, like I said, like, especially if it's, like, a dumb shirt. Like, I'm like, yo.
No, we're talking about an iPad this
Oh,
time.
we're talking about the iPad? Okay.
Yes.
Even then, I'd be like, well, the bus is going to go off. They're going to catch him.
But what if it doesn't and they just walk away?
Then I'd be like, I'd probably go to security. I
Doesn't
would.
sound like it.
I would. Like, I'd wait, like, to see, like, you know, if he's really, like, going to take it out the store. Because, you know, some people change their minds, you know. But, like, if I see he's really about to take it out the store, then I'd be like, you know, go to security. Yo, this guy's taking his junk, you know. Tackle him.
See, I feel like for me, if it was a new friend, like, I would care less about them, and I'd be like, yo, you put this back, or I'm gonna call security.
Yeah, I agree.
But if it's, like, a close friend, I'll be like, what are you doing? And, like, try to talk to them. I don't know what I would do if they, like, refuse, though. I would just be like,
Not
okay.
close friend no more.
Yeah, see ya.
I used to be like, yo, we could smuggle, like, 2 of these iPads out of here.
Stop it.
Your logic is very confusing to me. Because, like, you're saying if it's a stranger, you can't talk to them, you're scared of them. But if it's your friend, I don't understand your logic.
I mean, like, if it's a good friend of mine, like, I mean, you know, of course, like, I wouldn't want them to steal because, you know, it's not
if it was
right
a
to
good friend,
steal.
though, I feel like I could convince them not to.
Yeah.
Be
Like most of my
"What you
friends I
doing?"
can't convince, but like if they're like, you know, if they're adamant about it, then I'll be like, all right, I mean, you know, I'm not gonna do nothing about it. Like, you my dog. I'm not gonna tell on you. Not gonna call the policia.
That's strange. I don't know.
I mean, what? It's like if you and Clark were up in the Target
Uh-huh.
and then Clark's about to take an iPad, what would you do?
I'd don't know. I would be very upset. I'd be like, Kirsten, you need to stop. I'm going to call your mom.
I'd be like, oh no, put it back.
But I don't know. Like, if she continued to, like, walk out of the store, I don't know. I would not understand. I don't know if I would do anything.
I mean, especially if she's your ride.
True, though. Although we got
Oh my
Uber
god,
these
if it was
days.
a ride, that'd be hilarious. I'm like, if you don't come with me, I'm leaving you here.
Calling
Hey,
Uber.
you walking home, girl.
Yeah, that would be a strange situation.
Yeah, if it was, if it was a close friend, I would definitely just try and talk to them, and I feel like I could probably convince them. And like, I feel like I would not be able to let them like walk out with it. Though.
Yeah.
Like I would freak out. So, because I know like, well, first of all, it would make me rethink the whole friendship, but also like, if they get in trouble, that's a huge deal, and I care about them. So yeah, don't steal anything though, people.
True.
Don't
That is awful.
pickpocket.
But on the subject of what Marcus was saying, like, the corporation in reality is not going to lose a lot. So, like, if somebody is, like, suffering and they pickpocket something, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. But yeah, don't steal anything.
Yeah, it's not for the best, but like really, like Target's really not gonna miss that T-shirt or even iPad money. Like they got hella money. So.
It's more that the employees can get in trouble if like on their clock someone stole something. So it's kind of like, it's a little risky because the employees might get in trouble.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. Like, if it's an employee who's making, like, minimum wage and they're going to get, like, in trouble for something you've done, like, that's just stupid. Like, don't do that to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of my biggest things would be like if my friend wants to steal, and I couldn't convince him otherwise. The only thing that would really make me like, upset about him stealing, would be like, if him stealing would get me in trouble too. So it's like if we came together and then like we're leaving together and then like he stole something, then of course like I'd be ticked because like I'd be like, yo, I could go to jail for something stupid like this that you just want to steal, So I'll be mad about that. But like if like he's just some dude, even if he's my friend and like but he just didn't come with me and like we're not leaving together and I can't convince him, I'd be like, well, I mean, whatever, screw it, just do it
So Marcus
and try not to get caught.
You just call the cops. Like, it's not that hard. Just because they don't listen to you, you can call the cops.
Yeah, but that's my boy.
Marcus.
Nah, no Mo.
Marcus has no morality unless it concerns him.
Hey, like I
Oh,
said,
it's just
man.
so interesting, like, way to think.
But also, I don't think I would ever call the cops in a situation. Like, I would just talk to the employees. Like, cops is extreme.
Not if it's an iPad.
You tell the employees on
Nah.
Clark?
That's not extreme if it's an iPad. That's like $300, $400.
I mean, I feel like I would leave it to the store to call. Like, I wouldn't personally be like, 911, somebody's stealing an
I mean,
iPad.
I would tell employees
Make
first,
a
but-
citizen's arrest.
True.
Sir, you're under arrest for the stealing of this iPad. Then you just call the police.
True.
I mean, that's the normal thing to do if someone stole something.
I don't know. I would leave it to the store.
Leave it to the cashier. She'll take care of it.
Or like a manager.
You like to put the blame on someone else or the problem on someone else.
I'm telling them, though, I'm
Yeah, but it's your best friend. Like,
That's what I'm saying. Like you'd call the cashier on Clark,
I mean,
cops, you mean?
the cops or the manager or whoever.
I wouldn't call the cops on anyone.
What?
I mean, like, if they're just stealing something from a store? I
Yeah,
don't-
you'd be
How
like,
else would they get in trouble? That's
well, the manager
Because,
would,
yeah, the
manager would do
employees.
something about it.
Okay, but they call the cops.
Well, yeah, that's up to them, but it's not, like, my problem. Like, hey, I saw somebody
If my
shoplifting.
best friend stole an iPad and they like left Target with it, I would either tell the cashier or call the cops.
See, I wouldn't call the cops. I would just tell the cashier.
You call
Because-
the cops on your best friend?
If they're stealing, yeah.
Yeah. But if you call the cops, like, you got to give them, like, all your information. You got to stay on the line. You got to give descriptions. It's like, it's not worth my time.
I'm assuming you probably still get in some kind of trouble or something if you were still with them.
Not if you tell on them.
See, that's what I was saying. Like, if I was in the situation where if he was to get caught or something, like, I would also get in trouble. Then I'd be like, yo, this ain't happening, But, like, because I've been in situations like that, not like, stealing per se, but, like, something, like, illegal was happening, and then I was like, yo, like, I will get in trouble even though I'm not doing anything wrong. So it's like, I'm not trying to have this happen. But then, like, if it's something where it's like, he's just doing it and, like, if he falls, it's just him, like, screw it. Like, if I can't convince you, then it's on you. Like, I don't care.
See, that's the thing. Like, I think just by telling the store manager, like, that brings the blame off of you. Like, you're no longer, like, with that person, Like, the cops, they wouldn't be like, oh, she's, like, an associate to robbery. Like, they wouldn't think that way because you're the one who turned them.
Hey, like I said, I would try to convince him. I try.
No, none of my friends are like. I would never. If someone's breaking the law, like, I mean, obviously not all. I don't know, specific things. Like, I wouldn't just be like, "Oh, I'm your best friend. I have to stay by your side."
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that for me, at least.
Although I know there's a store I will call them Muffy and Muffalita in middle school. They went to the mall, like that store Buckle. That's like really
Hate
expensive.
that store.
I
I've
know.
never heard of that store.
It's like
Really?
a country store.
I don't
kind of.
really
kind
go
of,
to
but it's
the
like
mall though.
$200 jeans. It's crazy. But so I guess Muffy like started stealing clothes, so Muffalita did too. And I get when you're that young.
But like, how do
it's-
you steal clothes like that? That's one thing I always wanted to know.
They got caught.
Like, how do you steal their clothes? Like, you're either wearing them or they're like, making this big old bulge in your shirt or something like that.
They maybe had bags or something. I don't know. But yeah, they both stole clothes. And I get like when you're younger, it's easy to be influenced like by what your friends are doing. But like if you're a grown up, don't stand for that. If they're your friend, just be like, hey, you stupid. Like either put whatever you're stealing back or don't talk to me.
Okay. Interesting story. I actually stole something from Walmart one time as a kid,
As a kid.
unintentionally.
Me too.
So like, I remember like I was playing with this ruler. It was one of those cool rulers, the ones that used to be able to like fold
I saw
Yeah.
that
into
one.
like a million pieces or whatever. But like, yo, those were so cool. I used to love those. So like, I asked my mom to buy me it, and then like, I was just playing with it the whole time, like even when I was at the register. So like, they never actually took it out of my hand to pay for it, and I just walked out still playing with it. And then like months later, I thought to myself, wait, we didn't pay for this. So
Months later.
yeah, like literally months later, it just hit me. I was like, wait, we didn't pay for this.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I'm a savage. I'm a criminal.
I'm calling the cops right now.
Call him. I got a warrant.
I remember when I was little, like my mom told me my cousin stole like baseball cards from Walmart, and it was this huge deal because my aunt got really upset, my mom got upset, and like for me being little, I was like, I cannot believe he would steal. Like it was this huge deal to me.
Oh my gosh, he stole some what MLB cards?
I probably.
Some Major League Baseball cards.
But when you're little, like for me at least, I was like, my perception of stuff was different. Like I was like, that's crazy.
See, this is weird, but when I was little, I think it was also at Walmart. I was with my older sister, who's like 5 or 6 years older than me, and like she was always trying to be like really mean. And for some reason, we were walking by like I guess the men's department, and she grabbed like men's underwear and like put it in the cart with me, so I would like hold it. But I remember we walked out of the store with it, and then when I got home, I was like, "Oh, I just have this men's underwear," and I feel
Okay.
like it was very bizarre. But I feel like I just like kept it in my
Okay.
drawer forever because I was so ashamed that we like stole this men's underwear, and it was very.
That is quite the story.
So
Yes.
when you did you buy anything else?
I mean, my mom bought stuff, but I guess she didn't notice that I just had this.
That's so weird that no one like noticed that it was with you.
I know, and I don't know.
And she just hid that forever.
I was just
Like,
a
they will
child
never
with
know.
grown men's underwear in my drawer, and that probably looks sketchy.
Yeah, it does.
That's
but-
very sketchy, actually. That's
Yeah,
very
I
sketchy.
remember that just very vividly in my memory.
That's kind of sad. That your sister like.
Think about like if your parents found that.
I
you
know.
They'd be like, "What is this?"
I was like traumatized too. I was like ashamed of it. I was like,
I mean-
I can't get rid of this, but I probably could have.
"Yeah, just throw it in the trash.
You like burn them.
Just throw it in the trash.
I probably would have
Just
been
give it
anxious.
to your pops.
I'd have been anxious
She
about
would
that
have
for
like,
like
where'd
months.
you get these?
Like, we bought these for you.
It was traumatizing. I remember this too well.
Dang.
On that note, I think we're done for today, guys.
Yeah. Don't shoplift.
Don't fight.
Don't have no men's underwear if you're a
El
little kid.
Sabona.
You will be traumatized.
Damn, that wraps it up.
I'm Kirsten.
I'm Kelsey.
And you know who it is. It's your boy, the one and only.
All right.
The
See you
unique,
next
the
time.
Bye.
fabulous.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Peace.